everyone, welcome to Cloudcraft. I'm Abhishek and I am super excited to share cool DevOps tech stuff with you guys. So, we will learn about cloud engineering, DevOps, SRE, and how we can implement solutions regarding automation, integrating tools, and other services in infrastructure, right? So, guys, I'm starting this YouTube channel, Cloudcraft, to make tech less confusing. So let's explore, learn, and grow together. Right. So we are going to dive into Azure DevOps, AWS, Jenkins, and bunch of other cool things. So it's like a tech adventure playground for all of you guys. So why I'm doing this? The goal here is simple. So I want to create a space where we can learn without feeling overwhelmed. So let's make tech concepts easy to understand. So you'll be gaining lot of knowledge regarding automation and a niche technologies which are enabling DevOps to empower our CI/CD pipelines. So we will chat about real life tech experiences, break down complex ideas, and build a community to tech enthusiasts like who can love DevOps and automation as well. So everyone, what you can expect? So you can expect easy to follow tutorials, hands-on demos, smart tricks, and talks about the latest tech and trends. So whether you are a tech pro or just starting, there's something for you in this channel. So we are diverse bunch. So we gonna love that, right? So and we will love to hear from you. Whatever you like to work with, let's ping in the comment and we'll try to work upon it. Let's talk about infrastructure as a code. So what is infrastructure as a code? So it is a small snippet of code where you define the name of your resources, type of your resource, and other parameters on which your resource is defined in a JSON file, right? So it is very easier for those who know already the structure of JSON file, and when we spin up that code through the pipeline, it will create some resources, bunch of resources like VM, networks, and other interfaces in that cloud service. So yeah, so that makes it easy for a person because it prevents the person from creating the resource which sometimes he forget to add some properties via configurations or click buttons, right? So here you can easily track down what are the changes in the resources, what are the name, and it is very consistent, guys. Like you can just upload it to anywhere, or the code developer can easily fetch that and utilize it. So yeah, infrastructure as a code is being a very crucial nowadays. Either you talk about Terraform or AWS infrastructure, right? So we will talk about agenda, the overview of Azure ARM template. So here Azure ARM template is an alternative of AWS CloudFormation and Terraform. So yeah, so benefits of using ARM templates is it is easy to write and it is very convenient. So we will talk about further benefits in the upcoming time. So an anatomy of an ARM template, which where we will be defining the structure, the small structure. We'll understand the structure of the JSON format of the template, right? So yeah, we'll create our first ARM template on Azure repos, and we will learn about the advanced ARM template features and the best practices, and then we will deploy the resources with AR templates using Azure pipelines. And that gonna be another learning, like, because we use classical pipelines, but nowadays it is very recommended to use an YAML format because it is again very convenient and consistent. So introduction to Azure ARM template. So where it came, right? Where the ARM template came from. So it is coming from the Azure Resource Manager, because in earlier days it was very easy, or won't say that much easy, but people are creating an resources via command line or via configuration management using an UI of an Azure, right? So it is a deployment and management service for Azure. So it provides consistent management layer for resources in Azure, allowing you to deploy, manage, and monitoring resources as a group, right? So here are the commands like Azure group create, the name of your group, name of the location like Central India or West US, right? The same way you can delete your resources as well using a delete command, Azure group delete, or you can list your resources wherever your resources will be created under any umbrella of resource group, right? So here comes the ARM template, which will be a .json file where you will be defining your resources in a blocks, or and will be giving an output to understand how it is being created, right? So it is a very declarative way to define and deploy infrastructure as a code, because it is very consistent and convenient, and you can just have a glance of your infrastructure or the resources created in a code way, right? And you can see what has been created, and it is a source of truth for those who are creating a large infrastructure as well. So this is an common infrastructure as a code, where the developer will be pushing its code to from the VS Code, and he'll be editing his files. Most common files will be the Azure resources.json. This is the name of an ARM template file, right? So another file will be Azure pipeline file, which will be having the task jobs which will be running to spin up that Azure template file, right? So here the most common services will be having as a prerequisite is Azure subscription. So guys, whenever you will be creating an account, you will be using a free account, right? So your subscription will be free, and we'll be having an Azure group under which resources will be created, and the most common aspect will be the Azure pipelines from which the build will happen, right? And in turn we'll be seeing the resources will be created virtual machines, storage classes, virtual network, and network interfaces. So all of them will be created via single file. Let's move forward, guys. So let's discuss about the benefits of ARM template, right? So using ARM template, we can declare network infrastructure, storage, and any other resources within the same file, and that give you a great view to see your resources are defined, how they are defined. So another benefit would be we can use the PowerShell or Bash script for template using the deployment scripts, right? So you can deploy your templates via these scripts, right? And this can be a beneficial for your infrastructure to be an automated. So over the deployment cycle, ARM templates allow the deployment of resources repeatedly in a consistent manner, right? As I said, this is very consistent and convenient. Like the resources which you defined 3 weeks back, you will be having its configuration now also, right? So ARM templates provide a standardized, scalable, and efficient approach to a infrastructure provisioning as well. So we will discuss about anatomy of an ARM template here. So what is anatomy? It is segments in the template which are combinedly describing the template, or I would say these are the resources and the properties that you want to deploy to Azure. So it consists of several key sections like JSON structure, resources, parameters, variables, and output, right? So let's discuss the first thing, which is the schema. So in the context of Azure Resource Manager templates, the schema element is required field at the top level of the template, and it also specifies the URL of the JSON schema file, and that also defines the structure and properties which are allowed with the ARM template. That means you can validate all of your thing which has been described inside the template with this schema. So schema is the first point of validation, right? So now coming to the content version is your version of your template. So simply we can see that 1.00, or you can rename it on your own also, right? So coming to parameters, so your template should be having some parameters which will be used in further resources or anything in the template, right? So location, we will describe location. Type would be string. Default value would be East US, or you can also make it to Central India, whatever suits your Azure account. So metadata would be description, and let's go to the variable section. We are defining storage account name because we are making storage accounts. So in the further workaround or the demo, we will see how we are creating the virtual machines, storage accounts, and some NICs also with the VM. So storage account name is the variable which will be further used in the resources section. Now let's see what it is doing. So concat is like adding this string with the unique string of resource. Like resource would be the storage account, and my and the name is the is the my storage hyphen or space the resource type of resource which we are concatenating my storage string, right? So basically now coming to the resources, the type, what type of resource you want to add. Like Microsoft.storage is the type how we can define the resource. Like for VMs you can there is a virtual Microsoft dot virtual machine hyphen VMs, and for NICs you can do the same. So yeah, so we can see API version also. So this API version should well suit with your Azure version, right? Otherwise it will give you an error while deploying your code to your Azure CLI, right? So location would be taken from parameters which you have defined above, and SKU is the capability which are coming along with your resource defined in the template. Like standard LRS family would be A, B, C, anything, or kind would be storage V2, storage V3. So these kind, this kind refers to a amount or limit of any storage account. So so after creating this resource, which we will be creating an output, that is storage account connection string. What does this mean? This is predefined variable. So type would be string and value is concat default endpoint protocol. So what is this doing? So further, if we will see further, so I have a short screenshot, right? So if it is like creating a string and output as a string, which will help you to access your storage account from any endpoint, anything from which is being used as a programmatically, right? So in the next section we will see creating our first ARM template. So we will see step-by-step guide to creating a simple ARM template, use of Visual Studio Code for Azure portal for authoring, and also we will say explanation of a basic structure and syntax. While doing the demo, we will come along some confusion and some understanding, and what we gonna clear while doing the demo. Welcome back. Now we gonna see the practical use of Azure resource creation through ARM template, and we will also learn about like how the whole process is going on, right? So one by one we will see the like how code or the template has been written in the repository level, and also we will little bit navigate around this Azure console, and also I'll let you know like how we can go around and play with Azure DevOps as well, right? So and also you will get to know about little bit about the basic of Azure DevOps. So this is gonna be a good learning if you are starting with Azure DevOps, right? So let's start, guys. So for your information, I have written one blog. I will release this soon as I will release this video, and under that umbrella you will get a lot of information, and from the scratch you can create your own resources through Azure Resource Manager, right? So let's go. So guys, for this Azure DevOps, you need to have a Azure account. So for that, you can just go and type portal dot azure.com, and you can just write it free. So it will let you. Okay, so just simply type here Azure resource portal dot. Okay, so it is opening the same one. Okay, okay, now you can type okay, Azure account, right? So you can just go and type start your free account, start free. You will be opted to, put your information like card and all. So remember guys, you should have a unique account. You haven't created this account before. So basically you can create your Gmail account, and you can use the same Gmail ID in your this Azure Microsoft Azure account to create from scratch, right? So guys, it won't uh, deduct any amount from your from your account bank balance, so don't worry about that. It will just see your account is working, your the card is working. So it is 1 year free for you guys, and it will give around 18,000 rupees to play with in the Azure Microsoft Azure, right? So guys, yeah, so once you have created the Microsoft Azure account, your first responsibility is to create a resource group, right? So now you can create a resource group. So this account guys, you can see this is the mm, this is the IM account, and this is the root account, right? So we will use the root account to create a resource group. So yeah, you can create a resource group. So what is the resource group? I mean, when you will be defining a resource group, all the resources including storage account, resource virtual machines, NIC, I mean network interface connections, and virtual network as well, will reside inside the resource group. So this resource group is a group of all the resources which will be created through the Azure template. Okay, so you can just type anything. I'm just going fast. Okay, okay, so it's not necessary to create a tag. Okay, so just create it. Okay, so I have already created it. So you can see this is the Azure this ARM, right? So no resource has been there since, and yeah, so no resource has been created here. So after that, when you have created a resource, now the first thing you have to do is create an Azure go to your Azure DevOps organization. Okay, so once you will be inside here, you will see the like from like you can create your new organization. So suppose you can just go and continue, just type the information, continue, and on an instant you will get an your Azure organization. Okay, so yeah, so now you just go to your organization, and you can create your project. Like project can be your project description and project name, and can be a private. Once it will be it will be filled, you can just go for to create. Okay, your ARM deploy project will be created. So once you have created your project, right, just you can click on it, and you will see the services, like how many services are there in your project, and like pipeline, repos, board. So these sort of services you will get by default. Like these are the basic services, and for other than that, you may be required pay as you go, or you can just add on with the like hovering or navigating over the Azure portal, right? So first of all, we will go to the repos. So guys, when you create a new project, you will be creating a repos, and under this you will be having an initiate repos section, and from there you can create your repos, right? I will add the all the steps in the documentation, you can follow the same. So with this we need one priority thing, which will be creating a service connection, right? So what is service connection? So here you can see in project setting, you can see a service connection section. So guys, This is nothing but a connection which is telling how your DevOps organization, how your how you triggered your API will be connected to your Azure DevOps resource, right? So because whatever you are doing in Azure DevOps, it will be coming via Azure template into this Azure portal, right? So from there your resources can be seen and will be created, right? So your so let's follow the documentation how this service connection has been created. So guys, in our previous section we have already covered like what are the schemas, parameters, variables and other sections as well, right guys? So we have already discussed the resources, what are the resources, variables and parameters and variable schema, content version in our previous section, right? So after creating an Azure DevOps organization via portal, you can just create a project, right? And under that hood you will be creating a service connection, right? So we'll be just following these steps, right? Just go to your this project setting, right? So just I'm just taking from the start, right? Just go to your project and just go to project setting. Here you will be getting a service connection, and under that you will be creating a new service connection, right? So just select Azure resource manager, right? So what is this, right? So we have discussed, right? So it is basically a connection between your Azure home resources and the Azure DevOps organization, right? So we'll be creating a service principal manual and subscription ID, subscription name, service principal, and the service principal key, tenant ID, right? And how you gonna just get it, right? So you just need to have these commands, right? In your handy, right? Just copy this command, go to your IAM or whatever the CLI you are using, right? So here, okay. I'm not getting it. Okay, so yeah, just I'll reconnect. Okay, yeah, now just I have just copied that commands, and the what it is like, it will provide you the service subscription name and the subscription ID as well, right? So I just pushed it and just copy your subscription ID and your subscription name, right? Okay, just we'll move again there. Okay, once we will create a subscription name and subscription ID variables and just echo them, and we will get the name and subscription ID, right? So let's go to service connection. What else we need is service principal ID and service principal key and tenant ID, right? So how you gonna do it? Just copy this command here, right? And just paste it inside this CLI, right? And by that time you will be able to see like if it is already existing with the same name, it will just recreate it. If it is not existing, it will create a new one. So I have already created with the same so I don't need it, so it will just fix it and just show me the generated one. Right now just you have to copy these credentials and add it in this here your service connection setting. Just verify the details and just put your service connection name and just grant access to all pipelines and verify and save. So once your service connection is created, so guys, there was an intermittent issue. So yeah, so you are seeing this admin username which is the same as here. So you just put any username and password, it will utilize this variable group from the deployment, right? So if you want to have a separate Azure resource ARM for different resources, just you can do the same for every resource. Just make sure you just have to mention a different template file here, right? Like I have done this, so it will work like this, right? For a separate resource. So we are just using the same resource .json, which is a ARM template for every resource, right? Now we have the code, we have Azure pipeline CML. Now what we'll do is we will just run the pipeline, right? Okay, we have already ran this pipeline earlier to troubleshoot some issues, right? So it is running, the job is running, guys. It will take us few minutes. Yeah, so it started building your ARM template. Now it's just going on. Yeah. What NIC do is it will connect your virtual machine to the virtual network. So it is the main component between your virtual machine and the virtual network, right? So in order to create your proper networking group, you need to have a virtual network and NIC as well with your virtual machine, right? So after we have created virtual network and NIC, we'll go to virtual machine creation. And so API version would be this, or the latest name could be anything you want. Location would be and always be your resource group location in which your resource group is residing. And this is VM size. So basically you have to choose the free size, right? So this is the basic standard size which comes along your free tier. And this is the storage profile, like of the image, like who would be the, I mean, authorized publisher to the image, right? And the offer would be Ubuntu server, and SQ would be the LTS. This is kind of the latest support version. This could be this, and the version could be the latest, right? And this is the, mostly you can say it is a version ID, right? So OS disk is the create option, and there is also a delete option, but we need to create your virtual machine from image, right? This is the basic instruction for the image, right? This is the OS profile, like what would be the your VM name, your admin user and password, and this is the network profile of this virtual machine. So what it is doing is it is mentioning your NIC, like how your virtual machine will be connected your network interface component. And this NIC will be under the hood of virtual networks, right? So basically it is telling your VM would be connected to this NIC, and this NIC is in your virtual private network, right? So basically this is the storage account. So basically storage account is that resource which will be consisting your blobs, files, and other stuff which will be a storage unit in your Azure home, right? So you can name it as anything. The location is same, Central India, and name would be standard LRS, which is the which is coming along with your free tier, right? So the kind would be also the same like which will be coming with your free tier. And support HTTP traffics only would be true, right? Like you can just have this storage account outside from your Azure infrastructure. You can access this. So this flag basically telling the same. Now we have understanding regarding this resources.json, which is itself an ARM template. So we'll go to Azure pipelines. So yeah, so before that, guys, you are seeing this the properties of virtual machine, where it is, yeah. So parameters dot admin user and password. So we have defined these values in our Azure pipeline. So because it is very secure credentials, and we should not share via our code, right? So let's move to, and we will see forward how we are using these variables, admin user, and password. Beyond this, Azure pipelines.yaml, right? So the trigger would be develop, right? You don't need to bother about the syntax of this YAML file. Just focus on the logic and the components which we are picking up for your Azure storage account or the resource JSON. So basically, I will tell you why this file is being created here. Okay, so these are the parameter which we are not using, right? So this is the variables. So why we are adding these variables? Because these variables will be used in, the in this component further job. So yeah, so we have created one variable group. Let's go to that variable group, right? Okay, duplicate, let's close this, and let's go to the pipelines. Here we are going to library. So we have created the variable group with the name this VM info. So basically these are the secure credentials. It should be in our configuration and it should not be in our directly used in the file. So just create a variable group under this hood. You can just define your variables which will be used in your Azure DevOps pipelines, right? So which we are giving a reference of these variables in here, right? So basically we are just overriding the variables which were in your resource template, right? Yeah, here. Okay, so after that you just yeah, so pool would be VM image Windows latest. So basically Windows latest, why we have done that? Because whenever you are just running your Azure pipelines, DevOps pipeline, the backend, in the backend there should be a controller, or the resource which will be running and building your yes YAML file. So just come on the job section, and under this job put your job name and your this display name for your operation or the step. And the steps are here. Task would be Azure Resource Manager template deployment at the rate 3, or display name of this task would be deploy Azure resource using your ARM template, right? So input would be deployment scope would be resource group, because we are just deploying every resource under this resource group. Azure Resource Manager connection, right? If you remember, we have created a service connection. So basically it is deriving that all the resources which will be created via Azure DevOps pipeline, which will be connecting through this service connection, and furthermore they will be deployed to your Azure infrastructure, right? Location could be Central India. Template location could be linked artifact, which is which is the same repository. So CSM file is the your template, Azure Resource Manager template file. And override parameters, right? Suppose you want to override your parameters which are defined under your this ARM template. Just override with this syntax, right? And just use this admin username in the, as we have seen just now. Okay, just a moment. Just go to library. I think there is an internet issue. So guys, there was an intermittent issue. So yeah, so you are seeing this user admin username which is the same as here. So you just put any username and password, it will utilize this variable group from the deployment, right? So if you want to have a separate Azure resource ARM for different resources, just you can do the same for every resource. Just make sure you just have to mention a different template file here, right? Like I have done this, so it will work like this, right? For a separate resource. So we are just using the same resource.json, which is a ARM template for every resource, right? Now we have the code, we have Azure pipelines YAML. Now what we'll do is we will just run the pipeline, right? Okay, we have already ran this pipeline earlier to troubleshoot some issues, right? So it is running, the job is running, guys. It will take us few minutes. Yeah, so it started building your ARM template. Now it's just going on. Yeah, as we are facing one another issue, you could see there is no my NIC. So in order to resolve that, what we're gonna do is we will just run again, right? Because NIC is being created at last before creating like VM. So yeah, let's run this again. Okay, and we'll see if it is resources are being created or not. So checkout is completed, code has been checked out. So yeah, you can see the logs. Deployment name is this. Template deployment validation was completed successfully. Resources are being deployed. uh, uh, okay, so here we are. Okay, so information portal.azure.com. You can just go to home and okay, so you need to run your pipeline again in order to catch your NIC. So yeah, that's fine, you can just run it again if NIC is not built up. So yeah, now you can see it is resolved. Now we will see if resources are being created under this ARM resources. uh, okay, so whatever you mentioned, right, like this storage account has been created, VM has been created, my NIC has been created, and virtual network has been created, right? And OS disk where your image is residing is also created, right? Sources are being created. So guys, I have added some troubleshooting also. Suppose if your NIC and network interface or your this compute resources are not registered, you just you can register it using this command, right, which I have just added in my blog, right? So now we have created our this all the resources under using this ARM template. So the meaning of ARM template now is being fulfilled. So yeah, so guys, let me know like what were the issues, so I can just make next a DevOps video or a cloud video according to your interest, or just what I can just improve, because this was my first video and I will definitely try to improve my knowledge as well as my implementation on this DevOps technology. Till then, take care, bye bye, and just meet you in the next tech video.